Right now, in a sliver of water just 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, the world is holding its breath. This is the Strait of Hormuz. It's not just a shipping lane, it's the planet's economic artery. And today, it is crowded with military assets from multiple global powers, turning this vital corridor into one of the most volatile flashpoints on Earth. But this isn't just a story about warships and missiles. It's an economic story. A story of how tension in these 21 miles can dictate the price of your gasoline, the cost of your food, and the stability of the entire global economy. To understand the power of this strait, you need to understand the sheer volume of what passes through it. Every single day, nearly a fifth of the world's total oil consumption, and a third of its liquefied natural gas, is funneled through this narrow passage. That's over 20 million barrels of oil daily. For energy-hungry nations like China, Japan, India, and South Korea, this isn't just a route, it's a lifeline. And there is no viable plan B. The few pipelines that exist can only carry a fraction of the volume. Building new ones would take decades and cross a minefield of geopolitical rivalries. Overland routes are impractical and vastly more expensive. This geographic bottleneck is absolute. This structural reality transforms a simple location on a map into the ultimate strategic leverage. Any disruption, real or perceived, doesn't just cause a ripple. It causes a tidal wave across global energy markets. The military deployments here are part of a complex, high-stakes chess game. On one side, you have the United States Navy, projecting power with its massive aircraft carrier strike groups. Their stated mission, to guarantee freedom of navigation. On the other, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps' Navy, with its fleet of small, fast, and heavily armed attack boats, designed for asymmetric warfare. This isn't about preparing for an immediate, all-out war. It's about signaling. Each patrol, each drill, each drone flight is a message. These actions alone can dramatically alter risk perceptions. Shipping companies see the tension and must decide if it's safe to send their multi-billion-dollar vessels through. Insurance companies react by hiking war risk premiums, adding millions to the cost of a single voyage. We saw this during the tanker war of the 1980s, and we see it today. The threat of disruption becomes a powerful economic weapon in itself. When energy prices spike, the impact travels through every layer of the global economy. First, transportation. The fuel for the container ships, cargo planes, and trucks that move goods around the world becomes more expensive, and those costs are passed directly to businesses and consumers. Then, industrial production. Everything from plastics and chemicals to life-saving pharmaceuticals are derived from petroleum. Higher oil prices mean higher manufacturing costs. The impact even reaches your dinner table. Natural gas is a key component in producing fertilizer. When its price goes up, farming becomes more expensive, and so does food. This interconnected web means that a single incident in the Persian Gulf can lead to higher prices at the gas pump, more expensive groceries, and a rise in the overall cost of living for families thousands of miles away. The strategic interests converging on this strait are immense. For the United States, its role has historically been the guarantor of security, protecting the free flow of oil for the entire global system. For China, it's a matter of critical vulnerability. It is the world's largest oil importer, and a huge portion of that oil comes through this single choke point. This dependency, sometimes called the Malacca dilemma, drives much of its foreign policy. For regional powers like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, the strait is an existential export route. For Iran, it is the ultimate trump card, a powerful lever to counter crippling economic sanctions and assert its influence. These overlapping and often conflicting interests create a fragile balance of power, where a miscalculation by any one player could have devastating consequences for all. Financial markets watch this region with extreme sensitivity. Oil traders on exchanges in New York, London, and Singapore react in seconds to any news. A rumor of a naval exercise, an unconfirmed report of a drone, or a single inflammatory statement can send prices soaring. This isn't based on an actual disruption. It's based on the fear of a future disruption. This market anxiety can undermine efforts by organizations like OPEC+ to stabilize prices, creating volatility that harms both producers and consumers. The global economy is built on a foundation of stable, predictable energy supplies, and the Strait of Hormuz is the most critical and most fragile part of that foundation. So, while the images of warships are dramatic, the true story of the Strait of Hormuz is written in economic ledgers, shipping manifests, and stock market charts. It is the ultimate convergence point where geography, economics, and geopolitics intersect. Understanding this narrow 21-mile waterway isn't just about understanding military strategy. It's about understanding the hidden forces that shape our globalized world, and recognizing how precariously our economic stability is balanced on this single, irreplaceable artery of trade.